48-hour art check, round 139.
Yeah.
All right. Happy May
Yeah.
the 4th
Yes.
and happy Free Comic Book Day.
Mm-hmm.
It's always fun when those two things happen at the same time.
I know, right? I did wear my Star Wars shirt, so
Oh, cool.
yes.
And I forgot to load up our images, so let me do that really fast while you talk about something.
All right. Yeah, today I'm a little off my game because I have been doing web resizing of images for like the entire day because I'm well underway into the rebranding of my website, which is super cool, but it's a ton of work, and I'm sure that's going to tie into our topic. Because yeah, it's been like my brain is in that mode now of just auto um, autopilot, like batching things.
Yeah.
But even with batching and actions, it still just takes way longer than I would like.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You have interesting cartoon sound effects happening with a lot.
Yeah, that was one of my phone notifications. Just turned it off.
Good stuff. All right, I'm ready now, I think.
Sweet.
Okay, so what have you gotten done in the last 48 hours?
Oh man. So I did the rough pencils and layout for the next page of quarterly stories. So each level that you see of that like water is gonna have to be it's gonna be full of a bunch of monsters. So it should be really fun to draw, but it's gonna take forever. And I do plan on getting at least a level of that penciled tonight. But most of what I've done today has been just figuring out Squarespace, kind of loading up assets and stuff, because I think that's the way I'm going to go. Trying to kind of figure out a way to integrate quarterly to it as well, and maybe we can talk about that as well.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's been a very busy day.
cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, for me, I have. Oh, good. This is why I should set things up before we're live. So basically, yeah, I've spent a bit of time getting about the first 23 seconds of this done. So that's what you're looking at. Is I have 29 different clips of people reading the script, and I'm cutting them up so that we have kind of everybody talking over each other. And it's taken a long time. I probably got about roughly like 12 to 15 hours into it so far, and I'm about 25 seconds in. So
Yeah.
I think I think it'll go faster. It's just mainly the first little bit of getting all through all of the footage because I'm like
Yeah.
kind of cataloging and tagging it as I go. And so I watch everybody's stuff and I cut it up and I leave markers on what they've said, and then I do that with everybody. So anyway, I think I've got about 18 of the 28 done so far.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's actually pretty good progress. Film takes so long. Editing takes so long.
yeah,
It takes too long if you're doing it right.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and this is one of those things where I could have made this a lot easier, but
Mhm.
I chose for better rather than easier. But I think it'll be worth it. I think if I didn't think it would have a positive impact on the campaign, I wouldn't have done it. But it'll definitely increase backing, I think. So
Got it.
anyway, so how about challenges?
Um, just exhaustion. Like I've been going since like 6 this morning with this website thing, and or not 6, like around 7, and
Uh,
just starting to get tired. Want to get to my comic. The one tough thing about the self promotion part of art and illustration is like, I want to do art and illustration.
Yeah.
Or at least do the creation of it. But then there's a really fun part to this as well. But it's kind of like it's at the boring stage right now. So it's trying to keep my interest, um, and trying to figure out a new thing, which actually I love doing, but I hate doing at the same
Yeah.
time. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't have any real negative challenges, just time consuming stuff. Like I could have gotten a bunch more done today, but opted for a big family day. The nearest comic book store it's like 30 miles away, so we all packed up and went there and
Nice.
grabbed a late lunch and went to Barnes and Noble and went to the comic book store and checked a bunch of stuff out. So that was fun. It was a good day. But that was like from 10 this morning till 6, and then bedtime routine and all that jazz. So I didn't really get anything done productivity wise, but Scarlett got a bunch of cool comics, so that's always good.
Nice.
Yeah. So how about plans?
Oh man. Well, I'm hoping to get more progress on my site within the next 48 hours so that I can hopefully transfer over the domain and stuff. Because right now I'm just going to build it as like a beta,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll see. And I definitely want to pencil a level of that. Like there's a couple levels on my rough pencils, and I want to get at least 2 levels in,
Yeah.
so that I can get that done. And we'll see. I mean, I definitely want to figure out how to do comics on Squarespace, or at least a reasonable way of doing it. Because there's a lot of comics that I want to host too that aren't just like older ones and stuff. So they don't have to be like fully functional like a web comic, but
Yeah.
definitely readable.
Right.
So that's going to be interesting too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just challenging.
Right.
It's an easy, good challenge. But
Yeah. We've got Debbie in the chats. Hi, Debbie.
hi.
Plans for me, more of the video. That's what I will be doing until that is done. And let's see, before Monday night, I would like to have maybe 20 more seconds edited. I think that's reasonable. So yeah, basically the most challenging section is going to be the everyone describing what their story is about. I'm going to try to find the right pacing for that. Obviously, we're not going to listen to 28 people describe what their story is, but I'd like to kind of get like a quick like da 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 and get people to have like a feeling for like the overall book. And so I'm going to grab like keywords and phrases from each description and do a kind of montage of people talking over each other.
Awesome.
So we'll see how that goes.
So it just dawned on me, I think we're streaming on a different channel than the one I linked to in Facebook.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Because this is the one I normally go to.
Oh yeah. No, I thought it was on yours today, but
No, you linked to yours on Facebook.
oh, I did.
Yeah.
Oh, well then we're fine. I should have linked to yours. Oh well, whatever. We're good.
No, it's okay.
Never mind, and that's my bad. This
No,
is
you're
my
fine.
brain, by the way, after just doing data entry type stuff all day.
Right, right.
All right.
So
So, all right. Anyway.
yeah. Okay, so today's topic is Squarespace for artists. So we thought we might go into do kind of a live demo. I figured that this might be more beneficial to more than just Josh. And so what we were thinking is Josh has questions. I have figured some stuff out. So I thought I'd just take everybody to my basically just take everybody to my site, and then Josh, you can ask questions, and I'll kind of take you through what I've figured out. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure. Dang it! I was hoping I had already logged in. I'm so prepared for this episode. So 1 second. Let me jump back over here while I get my password out from my app here. Because I remember that I just cleared my cache on everything. So anyway, the cool thing about Squarespace is when you're on Squarespace, you can log in from any page, and I've always liked that because like on WordPress and other things, you have to what? Hold on just a second.
Oh no.
Did I do that wrong? All right. Okay. Well, I'm typing this in because I don't think I'm typing and talking well. Why don't you ask some questions?
So I've started just kind of setting up the free template and whatnot through it, and there's a few things I'm trying to figure out like that are a little more intuitive on WordPress. One is on your menu where it has like a menu list.
Uh huh.
I'm not sure how you set up a subfolder under that menu. And so that's a big question of mine is like, I noticed, I think when you go on your site, if you go to artwork, there's like a menu, a drop down menu.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out how you get something to drop down. Like maybe that's the template I'm using, but I'm just fascinated with that.
Yeah. So
So,
let's start with I am using a template called Wexley,
okay.
and it's just a template that comes with Squarespace. It's one of the many. So then I'd go to Pages, and all you have to do is you've got linked and not linked. So under main navigation, that all shows up under here. And
Hmm.
then under not linked, you can create a bunch of pages, but if you don't drag them anywhere, then they won't show
Hmm.
up. And so basically, if I want this copyright and fair use to be here, I can just drag it there. And then it's now there underneath that. And if I'm like, oh wait, I don't want it there, I can just drag it back. And now it's not.
Nice.
And so if you come in and you go main navigation, you can choose like a blank, I believe.
Hmm.
No, folder. Choose folder, and then that will create this high level menu that is not clickable. So I'll show you like an example. So I'll click folder and I'll go example. Okay. And then
Yeah.
I can grab this and I can drag this down. And now here it is under example. And then when I put anything under there, I can stick like a gallery or whatever. And I'll call this example gallery.
Okay, the folder thing is what was throwing me.
Yeah.
So now if you go to example, it'll be an option on your menu.
Yes. So right here, if let me get out of this because it's just being insane. Right here, you can see example gallery right there.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. And so we can go back and I can say, oh, wait, that was a terrible idea. And I can delete this here and confirm that. Then I can come back and I can delete this as well. And then it goes away. And then everything's back to normal. So, and
Got
because
it.
I was going to that thing. Now also your subdomain will be I'm gonna do this actually. Let's go to I'm gonna have one tab open of my website and then the other tab open of my um, thing, so we can just jump back and forth that way.
All right.
Yeah, and so you can see that. Am I showing? Yeah, I'm showing the menu. So if I go to like illustration here,
Hmm.
the name of the page is illustration, and so it's corykerr.com/illustration, and
Yeah.
that is that, and you can change that, um, but that's a link, and so you can
Okay,
have
the link.
yeah, so you can have a link, a page, a gallery, a blog, or a folder. on your main menu.
Okay, why would you want a link? What does the link do?
So the link goes to this gallery down here, and it's just because I linked to it in several different places, and so I have that same link like right here in the text,
Got it.
and I've got a different link right here in the text. And so when I go to my thing, I have slash illustration, and I can get there, through the menu, or if I'm on the home page, I can get there right clicking here. I can get there right clicking here. Down at the bottom, I've got a big button underneath the main image. You can get there from there. And so because I'm linking to it from a bunch of different places,
Yeah,
it just made sense to me. I don't think it would be any different as if you actually put the gallery in the menu. You can still link to it from other places. So
got it. That's really cool.
yeah.
I'm that kind of opens the floodgates for a lot of good things, which is cool. So that helps me realize how I can kind of create subfolders within. I do have a question just for taste on this because we're building illustration portfolios here, right?
Yeah.
Um, my old site was like divided by t-shirts, editorial illustration, other like, and then a couple other links like storyboarding, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, how would you recommend that someone divide their illustration? Do you think that's too subcategorized for the general public, for most people? Because I was realizing, like, here's the thing. Let's say I'm like a magazine art director or something, right?
Yeah.
And I go to the site and I see a link that says t-shirts. I may not look at those t-shirts even though they'd be totally relevant to what I would like to hire the person for.
Right.
And so that to me made me wonder, how would you recommend illustrators kind of separate like the genre of what they're doing?
So I
Like,
would
would it be look?
yeah, I would go by one of two things or both, and you can do some really interesting things in Squarespace because of this. And so for me, my work breaks down pretty easily into traditional and digital, right? Like a lot of my digital stuff actually starts traditionally, but it's really easy to kind of say like I ink things on paper and I color things in the computer. And you can kind of just see that I've kind of split that. But actually, both of these things are coming from the same gallery. Um, and the way that I've done that is in this gallery, which is here, you can tag things. And so I've gone in, and if you look at, let's see, edit, I believe. No, not edit. Sorry. Let me get out of that. Thank you for giving me that note. It's not edit. It's
It's
yeah,
the little
the
thing
little
next to
the
it.
little
Yeah.
gear, right? Is
Yeah.
I can
It looks
come
like a,
in, yeah, I can come in and put in tags and categories, right? And
got it.
so I can come in here, and I believe I've did this with the inks. So anything that's inked has like ink in it.
Got it.
And so then this is the cool part. I'll do this. I'll do this on the main home page here. So I'm gonna edit the home page. So I'm gonna come in here and hit edit, not the header, but the page settings. Okay, and then what I've got is I've got two content blocks, and so over here, let's add it. Let's add another one. I'm gonna add another content block here, and these are called summary blocks, and you can do a wall, carousel, list, or grid. I prefer wall, but let's put a carousel here. It'll do the same thing, but it'll display it differently. And so if I come in here like this, I can choose one of my blogs. So I can come in and say, let's do the 48-hour art check blog. Okay, and then I choose layout. We've got carousel. I can choose the number of images per row. And then I can also come in under display, and I can choose a category filter or a tag filter. And so I can say, only give me the featured stuff, or only give me stuff that's tagged with ink, or only give me stuff that's in the category of comics, or whatever. And if I do that, then it comes up like this, and this will rotate through. And so if I click save here and come
Oh,
over here like
wow.
this and refresh this page, See, now I have, on top of these, which are galleries, I also have our blog, which feeds our thing. And let's say that I go back and I'm like, doing a blog was dumb. I should do something else. I can come in, I can edit this summary block and say, actually, let's show pages from my book. And then I click apply, and then I click save. And then over here, I can refresh, and now it's pages from my book.
Nice.
Right? And then I'm like, wait, that carousel's stupid. I don't want the carousel. So now I can come in. I don't know why all of a sudden I've turned into teacher mode and I'm doing this as if it was a lecture, but I just realized
No, I
that.
love it though.
So I choose layout and I go, okay, I actually want this to be, is it content or layout? Yeah. So let's do it as a wall. Okay. And then I can come in and you can see that it's changing as I'm doing it, and you can choose the column width. So I'm going to show like super small here like this. Okay. And then I want no gutter, and you have to get rid of the text in a different thing. So that's layout display. And then I want show thumbnail, but I don't want the title or the excerpt. And I don't want the date or anything else. And then it becomes a grid like that. And then I can come in and edit like how big or small these are. So I'm going to make them just a little bit bigger. Like that. And the cool thing is this is responsive. And so let me save this. And also, so I now have 3 different basically galleries showing up. And each one, I can click on one of these thumbnails and it will load. I don't know why it went somewhere, but it should load stuff. So if I like click on this, it like loads it full page, and then you can click through one at a time. So this is where I'm thinking your webcomic might work, because I can flip through like in order, or you could put it in as a carousel or something like that.
And what are you flipping through now? Is that a...
So that was a gallery.
Okay, so if you make a gallery, it's gonna flip through specifically that gallery.
Yeah.
Which might be helpful for webcomics. The thing I was gonna ask is, can you allow comments on each image?
Comments. Oh, I always turn comments off, but I believe there are allow comments options. Let me get rid of this. The nice thing about this is because
on the portfolio, but on a webcomic, you know what I mean? That interactivity is kind of nice.
So let's look at galleries. So if I had this gallery, I'm gonna look at this is my Sparrow gallery. I think if I hit this, let's see, SEO. So that's all the metadata. Mm-hmm. Social. This is what shows up as a preview. It might be. Is it under advanced? Dang. I thought I saw it somewhere, but because I don't do it, I'm not sure exactly if it can happen.
Yeah, it's a hard one to know.
Because it might be, it might work on a page. So let me look at this and see if I can add. Oh, I think it was on a blog. I think I saw it on a blog. SEO, social, media, advanced. Those are all the same things. So let's check out the 48-hour art check blog. I can come in here. Syndication. That's new. So that's the RSS feed replacement. Probably be careful that I don't show something I shouldn't live, but
yeah,
I don't think anything is going to come up. And hey, if somebody takes over our RSS feed for our podcast and does well with it,
more power.
More power to them, for sure. I thought you could do it with blogs, tags, blog item code injection. It might be on the actual blog level. So let's see if an individual post, featured post, share, location. That's just going to be where that is, content. I don't know, man. I'm not sure about. Oh, comments off right here. Yeah. So on an individual blog post, you could turn comments on or off. So if I turned this on, to enable comments in all posts, go to
Hmm.
the settings. Okay, so there's a setting somewhere. Click save. Now let's come over here and we'll go to blog. Oh, that was on the 48-hour art check. So we'll go to 48-hour art check. Mike says he's late to the party and is asking if we were talking about websites again. Yeah, I'm doing like a deep dive into the back end of Squarespace. So yeah, so if I came in here and I click comment,
Got it. Then people can comment.
then you can
That's
comment,
lovely.
and then I can leave a post here and preview it and all that jazz. Um,
That's very awesome.
so it looks like it's only on the blogs.
Huh. So then if I want a comic that people can comment on, can they share singular images? That's another thing I was kind of curious about.
In the
Like let's
comments,
say well, no. In a gallery. So like if I were to say like really like your one of your images from your portfolio, can I share it?
yes.
Okay.
So if you go to artwork,
Sorry to flood
say,
you with questions. I just have a few. Because I'm
oh
thinking blog might be good for the quarterly stories thing.
yeah, so you notice the URL up
Uh-huh.
here. That's a
Yeah.
unique identifier, which I believe changes. Yeah. So each one of these images has its own unique URL, which
Hmm.
means it could be shared. And I don't believe there's a way to disable. There might be a way to disable right clicking, but I don't. And so people could
Yeah.
also save the image and send it that way.
Got it. Is there a way to add a share button
Yes,
to the
there
images?
is.
Ooh.
Let's go to home. Oh, now you're asking where is this? Commerce
I'm so
marketing.
sorry.
No, it's okay. It's probably under settings. Advanced blogging cookies, mobile information, permissions, social links. Um, oh no, so this is the social links,
Yeah, the bar at the bottom.
the bar at the bottom, and you can put this anywhere. Like I put it underneath my search bar. Um, yeah, there might be a way to do that. You can have contributors. Let's see. Oh, I just realized I should I should do this. I don't even know where that went. Connected accounts? Is that it? No. Dang it. Let's see. Wherever I just clicked, permissions. If I added you,
Hmm.
um, if I added you, I believe that you could add 48-hour art check blog posts to that blog.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. There might be a way to add a sharing button, and I don't know what it is. Let's try
Hmm.
advanced here. You can. I know that you can inject code. I just don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know the how much you know how
Yeah.
much that does or what you're allowed to do or anything. Um, so yeah, I don't know the extent of that one.
Okay. Well, I'll look into that one on my own, I guess. With the the other thing is, does it have to say powered by Squarespace at the bottom?
Oh, it won't once you. It won't. You can turn that off once you pay. So
Ah, perfect.
so for those that are unaware of how Squarespace works, what you do is at the start you are editing kind of a free page. Let me get to here like this. So you're editing kind of a free page, and then once you're done with it, and you're like, yeah, I like this. I've got like take a moment to follow, like, and comment. All rights reserved. Copyright Cory Kerr, and then my follow links. But on the free stuff, it'll say down here, it'll say like powered by Word or powered by Squarespace or whatever. But once you pay, you can have the option of turning that on or off. I just turn it
I
off.
love it.
So yeah, it's pretty slick. And one of the things I know I've talked to you about this, but I'll show everybody this. This is kind of cool. This is kind of like a hidden feature that people don't really talk about, which is kind of crazy. But if you go to a blog, you can actually turn a blog into a podcast. And so if you choose syndication here, you've got the option to add this to Apple News, and you can also do podcasting setup. And so I'm not going to click on this because I'm live, but if I let me switch over because I want to see if that shows anything. So I'm pressing all the wrong buttons now. Anyway, let me switch to that. There we go. And let me see if I click on this, if it shows anything it shouldn't. So if I click on syndication and I go edit podcast settings. Yeah, that's all fine. All right. I'm going to come back over here and show my screen. Okay, so if I go, I'm going to get out of this, and any blog that you create, and you can create multiple blogs, you can come into the settings button and you can choose this, and then you can go to syndication and choose podcast setup. And once you do this, like you can add a title, you can add authors, subtitle, summary, and then you can come in, you have an email address, and then you can choose the type, choose several categories, cover art image. The cool thing about this is once you set this up and then you submit it to all the different podcasting services, and ours are on, like 48 Hour Art Check is on Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, yada, 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 a bunch of them. Once you do that, every new post that you make in this that has an MP3 in it, like this is an MP3, right? That's just the thing.
Yeah.
Then it'll put that up as a new podcast on all of those podcasting services. It's pretty instantaneous. I've timed it, and I don't know how fast it is, but it's faster than it takes me to press go and then get my phone out and look on my podcast app.
Wow, that's awesome.
So that's pretty cool. And then those are also options on your social links. So if people were to click on, like any of these, it's going to go to the podcast page on that service.
Wow, that's very cool.
Yeah. And then there's also cool stuff like this. Like you can aggregate your Instagram. And so when I post new stuff to Instagram, it automatically updates this little sidebar here.
Oh.
Which is kind of cool. And so like that's automatically happening. Like this is a stream of my Twitter account. And so that's like automatically being updated. And I've got to show you this. And then if you have any more questions, let me know.
Yeah.
Because this is super cool. If I go to the top here and I go to videos, under videos, I can have a gallery of video blocks. And so like here is Illotalk, here's 48 Hour Art Check, here's my 100 Days of Animation, my sticker stint, any of these. And so if you want to see like this, it'll load a playlist in YouTube. And so you can see...
Wait, so you can put the playlist link
What's
in
that?
that block?
Say that again?
You put the link in the block?
Yeah. So I put the playlist link as an image inside of a gallery. I'll show you. Because it was kind of a hack that I figured out. And so let me find...
So that was auto updates. Oh.
Yes. Yeah. Cool. And so the cool thing about it is like, if I play this, it's going to play our most recent episode key. And so here's episode 138, right? We're in 139 now, which we're recording currently, but it'll play all of the stuff. I didn't update that. And so it just automatically, this page is constantly up to date just because of this gallery feature. And it's pretty slick because if I click to play one, it automatically goes back to the thumbnail for the others. So you can only have one
Wow.
playing and active at a time. So I really like that. But let me show you. Let me find a playlist that I haven't uploaded. Speed drawing. Okay, so there's a playlist. I'm gonna go here. Okay, so I get the playlist URL, and then I'll come back over here, and I'm gonna edit this. So let me go to videos. So this is a page that I've created, and then I added in here. So I'm going to go edit, and this is a gallery that I've just embedded in here. And so if I go edit gallery, okay, then I can upload. I click upload images. No, that's not it. I click new, this little plus, and then I'll add a video. And if that video is a playlist, then it goes and it grabs that, and it'll automatically do that. And then you can upload a thumbnail. And so if you upload your own thumbnail, then that will cover everything. But each new video will be added to this playlist. And so if I click save here, it automatically adds that in. And then I click apply. And let's go back over here. You see it's not there. And then I'm going to refresh this page. And there it is. And that's why I add my own thumbnails, because they're pretty, like the ones that they grab from YouTube are pretty small.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. And you can do single videos. Like this is a single video of me describing what my channel is about. But these are playlists. So I'm going to get rid of that one because I don't want that playlist on there.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So yeah, so I mean it plays with YouTube and other things really nicely.
That's awesome.
And then I
can't wait to do it. I just need to figure out comics on it. that's going to be the trouble. I'm thinking, because you can do comments on blogs, maybe doing it as a blog would be good mixed with the gallery. But the problem is, would that mean every blog post would have to be a page? And then if every blog post was a page, I don't know, that just seems really tough.
So you're talking about adding a page to your adding a page of your comic to a blog post.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think the best way to do that was you could do a summary block on a different thing, and kind of scroll through. I don't know. I mean, we could play with it and test it out, because like I've got like this gallery here. Like if we go to the Tuncut Sparrow pages, which I think is just /Sparrow. Let me see if I was smart and did it that way. It is. I was smart. So this is like a normal gallery, right? And you'd be able to see it like this, but I can click it, and if I make this, bigger or smaller, it's responsive to the height of the page.
Yeah.
And then I can press next and back. But I don't know if people can leave. I don't believe people can leave a comment on an image. So the other option is, let's see, if I go to blog, I think I've set this one up this way. So if I go to blog like this, this is my blog, just /blog, and it has all the stuff that I rarely update here. But then if you go to the home page, I believe at the bottom of every page, that I have blog posts. And so this is a this is a summary content block that people can scroll through. But like this is like that one that I was telling you before. So you could have it be, a grid, a wall, a carousel, whatever those options are. And then if they click on it, it'll go to that individual post. So if I click on this one, it goes to that individual post. But what it's showing is the featured image. But this is the post that has the video and the little blurb and.
Yeah.
So the only thing the problem that you're going to run into with a webcomic is if you want comments on individual pages, you have to make each page an individual post on your blog. If you
Yeah.
want everybody to read through that, they can, because they can come to the bottom and they can choose the next page, right? Just down here there's
Yeah.
automatic navigation. And so you just click and it would go to the next page. And you'd click and it would go to the next page. It's not ideal. But like
Yeah.
if you numbered the pages so that,
Hmm.
so that this said 1 and this said 3, I knew I was on 2.
Yeah.
Um, that wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, it
Um,
wouldn't.
yeah. And so I think that might work, but you could also do both and um, have your pages be both as individual images inside of a single gallery,
Hmm.
and each new page would get a blog post so that people could comment on it.
Got
So that
it.
you've got the people that are like waiting to see each page, they can go to the blog post and make comments and have those discussions, or the people that just want to read the comic can just go to the gallery and just read through it without changing a page. So it wouldn't reload anything each time.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I don't know. The other thing is like, can you do like a scrolling story too, where it just goes from top to bottom with a gallery?
Yeah, just depending
Does
on how
that make
you yeah, just depending on how you do it. You could just make the gallery settings be one column wide, and then it would just stack all your images.
got it?
And certain things you can get rid of the side thing if you wanted, or whatever. But yeah, if you just made a one column wide gallery, that should work.
That's really cool. Are all of the functions other than the turning off Squarespace available in the free trial? And then, obviously probably some of the other like RSS stuff. Um, but like, the other functions are all there.
Everything I've mentioned, except for the podcasting and the turning off the Squarespace powered by Squarespace logo in the footer,
Mhm.
I did all those before I paid for it.
That's perfect. Okay,
So I
cool.
think
Because
I
I'm
yeah, I think you can get it completely set up and then I think you can get it completely set up and then turn it on. I don't think you
yeah,
have to.
that's
I don't think you have to wait for anything.
That's kind of my hope. So, okay, cool. Well, thank you. Thanks for walking through it. I think that's a cool, like, kind of overview of some of the stuff that I was hitting a real, a real problem with. And then the weird thing is, like, just even that folder thing makes perfect sense. I can't believe I didn't see that. So
Yeah,
it's helpful
and that's the
sometimes when you're noodling around on these things, it's helpful to just have somebody else visually show you where things are.
yeah. And I will say this about my site: the thing that I've done that is not good is the page load takes too long, right? Because I just wanted people to like show up and immediately see what's going on, but I don't know. It's really hard for me. It's really hard for me to decide like what to show and what not to show, and so I probably show too much because it does take a second or two for all the images to load. So at first you're looking at just like this text bar at the top, and you're like, is this it? But anyway, I don't know. But it's pretty slick. But it is weird, right? Because I came from like Joomla. Well, I came from like hand coding stuff to like Joomla to this Adobe program to Dreamweaver, and then WordPress. And I was with WordPress for almost 10 years, I think.
Same here.
Yeah, and so it's kind of just like I got really used to. I don't know if WordPress is actually intuitive or if I just got used to it.
Yeah,
Because now Squarespace feels really intuitive to me, but at first, it was really weird. It was like,
yeah,
why are you doing it like that? That just seems like a weird choice.
yeah,
So like, why do you have all these unlinked pages? But now it's cool
yeah,
because you know if you want a page, you can just put a page down here and it doesn't have to end up in one of your menus, and it can be a landing page. So that's a really cool thing is I can come in and I can add like a page, and you've got different templates or whatever. And
Yeah.
I mean, there's stuff that I haven't even used. You might use some of this, like this album option. I think is a way to share music.
Hmm.
Then galleries and products is an upgrade. So if I were to sell, I'd have to pay more per month.
Yeah.
But everything else I think is not everything else, but there's some different things. You have like booking where you can do events and stuff. Anyway, I don't have to have those in the top menu. I can leave them as not linked, and then they
Hmm.
will not linked will leave it. What am I trying to say? It becomes like a landing page. Like if I want to do, like, hey, everybody go to, corykerr.com/ whatever landing page. That is a URL that could be like a one-time event or something that doesn't make sense in my menu,
Yeah.
but I can still do that, and then I can still track it. Like because there's like analytics that are kind of baked in
That's beautiful.
and stuff, and I won't
I'm.
I won't show my analytics live because they're embarrassingly low. But
That's okay. I'm kind of excited. My only other concern, and I already mentioned this over Messenger, is just my SEO dipping.
yeah,
But I think that's inevitable.
right.
You know. But
And it depends. Like you've got a bunch of people linking to a bunch of your stuff.
mhm.
You could come in and make sure that content. This would take forever, but you could make
Yeah.
sure that content is still at the same web address, the same URL. So if somebody, if you've got blogs, which you do, talking about stuff that you've made, and they are linking back to a specific page of your current site, you can set up your new site to have that same content in that same URL. Um,
Yeah.
and that
Realistically, I don't.
yeah. And I mean, the other thing is if you go to like corykerr.com/ whatever, I don't have a page there, and you can
Yeah.
have a custom 404 page.
I love it.
And so you can come in here and go, hey, oh no, there's a thing, like here's some instructions, and then they give you a search bar, so it's like, oh, search what you're looking for, and then it's pretty good, and so it'll come up in that search,
That's great.
right? And so anyway,
No, and I think actually the SEO, from what I've seen, the potential of the things you can tag and the different capabilities and stuff, it's pretty exciting. So
right.
cool.
Yeah. So anything else I can show you? I showed you the coolest stuff. I mean, the videos. I haven't heard of anybody else doing that. And I kind of just shoved some stuff in there until I figured out how it worked. So that was kind of
No,
cool.
I really like that. I think I'm pretty clear on a lot of it. With the Amazon affiliate links you're putting up there,
Yeah.
were those just a matter of pasting in the URL?
So on Amazon, you can get different types of stuff, of links. These were, I mean, this is the embed code that they gave me, and then I just pasted that in.
Perfect.
Because one of the options, that's the other thing, is if you go
Is
to,
that a table that you pasted them into, or?
it's just a page. So I'll show you this page. So right here is this page.
Mhm.
Is he gonna let me edit it? So if I click edit, these are just, what do they call them? Yeah, so it's just embed code. And so if I
Oh,
wanted
perfect.
to, if I wanted to add another one, I can come in here and I can say, go like this, and these are all the different options that you have. So
Mhm.
you can do videos, you can do audio, images, quotes,
Mhm.
markdown text, blah blah blah. Right? There's all this stuff, and a lot of this is I haven't touched a ton of it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what like a menu would look like or whatever. But like here's Instagram, Twitter, an RSS feed,
Mhm.
blah blah blah. One of them is embed, and if you click embed, then you can just copy and paste embed code from anything,
I love it.
and it'll embed it there, which might actually be an easier way of doing a YouTube playlist or something.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
So and
Yep.
the, and the other nice thing, and you've probably already seen this, is you can just take stuff and like drag it around.
Mhm.
And I love that because it's like, it's just so much easier than, what I used to do in WordPress, like create tables to like make sure that things stayed in rows and columns that I wanted them to
Yeah.
be in, stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
uh,
I love it.
yeah, this is like an embed code from Gumroad. I don't talk about this very much, but I have a bunch of free tools that people could use to learn After Effects. And so you can just go to corykerr.com/tools, and there's like all of the what would you call it? All of the like files and everything that you would need to follow along to the videos that I've created. And I just use like Gumroad to house those. And then people can just come in here and just download it for free. You can just type a 0 in here, and then it'll download it. But this is all run by Gumroad, and I just did an embed code into a page.
Love it. Oh, really quick question. If you were wanting a downloadable PDF on your site, can you put that up to download somewhere or like from your site, or would it have to be on another site and then linked through?
That's a good question. The easiest thing that I think the easiest thing would be to like use. I wonder. I mean, I don't know if you can do files. But the easiest thing would be just to you can do a content link, but
Mhm.
that might be a content within. Yeah, I don't see anything here that's jumping out at me. What I would do is I would have a downloadable link from like a Google Drive or something.
Mhm.
I think that would probably do it. But it would be interesting to see what would happen if you uploaded a PDF as an image.
Mhm.
They might have already thought of that,
Yeah,
or
that's the
a
point.
button or something.
Yeah.
So I've never tried that, but I don't like PDFs on the internet, so I usually don't do
Yeah,
it.
I mean they're not the safest thing, but I was just kind of curious more for, like let's say you're an aspiring artist or something, you want your resume up there for download, that kind of
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Cool.
So yeah, so I don't know. I'm not sure about
That
that.
that's made me very excited about this. And what's neat is and this I just want to say mainly for the people in the chats too. You probably experienced hearing a lot of my like anxieties and stuff about kind of switching over and trying something new for a website. But one thing I'm remembering in the process of kind of prepping all my images, which is probably the hardest part of rebranding a site. Um, it, there's a lot to be said for just playing. Um, to me, like I never learned WordPress until I just started playing and getting my hands dirty and figuring it out. And there's a lot to be said for that. Like with any program, that's pretty much how I've learned every Adobe program I've learned was just kind of getting in there when I didn't really know what I was doing. And then once you start playing, like you'll notice I had some like specific questions for Cory during this art check, and most of that's because um, I mean I've played around a little bit in Squarespace and figured out a few things I'm curious about. And then you'll notice like some of those questions don't necessarily have answers, so it's like they there's just the element of play, like can it do that, can I do that, how can I do it, and a lot of the time there's like a weird cheat to kind of to get things working, and that's how I built my sites for years, so I think um just in case anyone's out there and they're like anxiety driven or anything about building a portfolio site, um, that's half the fun of it is you just kind of get in there and play. The
Yeah,
the annoyance of it, I'm finding, is going to be curating, and that's going to be tough. I think. Like I'm trying, like one of the hard decisions I'm trying to figure out is how to divide the portfolio in a rational way that doesn't get other things overlooked, um, and all sorts of other stuff. But
I wanna
I'm
I wanna
imagining it taken care of.
I wanna ask the. I'm curious since we've got everybody here. I'm curious on
Yeah.
what everyone thinks. I'm gonna get off of my site and go back to us. That button? Almost. There's Josh. Rare.
Right.
So yeah, so I'm curious what you guys think on as far as like what artists should show on their site. Um, I'm curious what everybody thinks. Like that because that was an interesting question, and I like just literally an hour ago, my wife was like, "Hey, I want to know about more female artists that are doing like empowerment things," and so I was just going through a bunch of the stuff that I've looked at, and we were kind of sharing sites back and forth. And I noticed like a personal preference of mine was like I hated it when I went to somebody's site. I just want to see all your stuff, you know. But like one of my favorite artists, and since I'm about to say something negative about her, I'm not gonna call her out by name. One of my favorite artists, I go to her site, and it's like, here's my oil painting, here's my gouache painting, here's my acrylic, here's my colored pencil, here's the ink, and like I have to go to different galleries to look at her work, and I'm like, I just want to see your stuff. Like I can make it makes sense sometimes to be like, here's some categories and others, um, or whatever. But like, I hate it when I have to, and so I found myself in a lot of these people just going to their Instagram, and then when I get to their Instagram, I was like, oh, cool, you're one of the people that where I get to see like 50 pictures of the food you ate to every one picture of art that you're showing. And some people love that because I know that like a lot of my students are like, oh, I really like to get to know people that way, whatever. And I'm like, I just want to look at their stuff. I'll get to know them when they get a YouTube channel or a podcast or they do
Yeah.
interviews or whatever. But like, I don't know. I'm curious. Everybody in the chats, what do you guys prefer when you're looking at? I'm going to use you guys as a focus group, and maybe we'll all learn something. But when you are looking at other people's like websites, how do you like it organized? And I'll ask you, Josh, while we're waiting for everybody to answer. As an art director who often is hiring people, often looking at people's portfolios, and somebody who is looking at you know bringing people in like remotely occasionally and things like that. I know that sometimes most of the time you have in-house work, but sometimes you have like I'm gonna bring in a special artist for this one project or whatever. What are some kind of pet peeves about people's sites?
I think your URL needs to be really simple. I mean, that's the first thing I think of because that's the biggest pet peeve is a hard to type or hard to remember URL on a resume.
Mm-hmm.
um, and then the simplicity of navigation. So, um, like making it easy for people to poke around the site. And then, yeah, definitely good display of images and hopefully fast loading. Most companies have shared servers, and so they have extremely slow internets, and so it behooves the illustrator out there seeking art director to make something that's easy to navigate, loads quickly. And what's funny, Corey, you were talking about yours loading slowly, but it loads fairly quickly to me.
Oh, good.
That whole gap isn't too bad. So um, I would say it does sometimes help to have things categorized, but that's why I'm kind of skipping that. Like I'm a little torn about that because I do know like if I see different things like editorial versus product illustration or something like that, and I'm looking for a product illustrator, I'm usually going to go straight to the product stuff. And while that's nice if it's targeted, I might overlook a lot of that other section. And so that's the part that's making me wonder if maybe it's better to kind of visually separate it. I don't know. So I'm going to have to play around with that.
And
But I to each their own, you
and
know?
one thing you can do is you can have an image in a page linked to something else, and so like Ryan Estrada, who just makes a ton of graphic novels about like travel, and he's the guy that's like how to learn Korean in 15 minutes, and that anyway. You go to his webpage, it just has a grid of squares, and each one of those is a thumbnail that goes to that book.
Yeah.
And I really like that. Is just really really simply like, for example, if I ever get to the point where I have enough animation that I want people to know that I do animation, right now I don't have like enough to even put together like a demo reel. But like when I get to that point, I'll probably like have a third column on my page, or I might even have, no galleries on my page, but just like an example, kind of thumbnail of all three categories of like digital coloring,
Mhm.
traditional inking and animation. So that just, I think the point is at a glance, you're able to like just look and see.
Yeah,
Victor's saying, I want to see their artwork, portfolio of clients, simple navigation, maybe some behind the scenes or blurb about what inspired the piece. It really depends on the artist, and it should match their personality, but be easy to navigate. So, yeah,
yeah, and actually, that's a really good point. Anytime you're doing a portfolio site, you should have a client list, because that, like, to an art director, it's like if you've worked with some heavy hitters, like it's gonna sway me more towards hiring you than if you're green, because I know you can work with heavy hitters.
what if you're
And so,
really old and you haven't worked with heavy hitters? Just hypothetically, not talking about myself at all.
well, even if you haven't worked with heavy hitters, though, like have a client list, because that shows confidence in your clients, and I think that's a good first step. And that client list will build,
Yeah.
as you go on. But then you get to this point, like I'm at this weird point where I have to edit my client list. So I I don't quite know, like that's something where I'm going to need another pair of eyes probably after my beta version set up, to just be like, get rid of this. Most people don't know these people. like, um, but I don't know. Yeah, it's just a lot of work. It's just going to be a lot of work and weeds to kind of get into. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, that's an hour.
Wow.
So,
We did
yeah,
it.
we did it. One more time around the bend.
All right. Thanks to everybody who joined us in the chat. I hope we kind of, managed to touch on this a little bit more. I know it's a little self-serving this time, but I just had a lot of questions for Cory. You can check out my work at quarterlystories.com. You can check out Cory's at corykerr.com, as well as his wonderful Squarespace site. And you can check out the podcast at corykerr.com/48hr. And this one may not so much make it as a podcast, since there was so much visuals to it.
Yeah.
But but you can go to our podcasts on iTunes. This is one of the best things you can do to help us out, and leave us a 4-star review and nice comment. All right.
And Debbie gives me a lot of hope here. She says, usually I just want to see the art and I don't care what hoops I have to jump through to see it. So there are awesome people out there in the world like Debbie. So that's great. And ultimately, like the decisions we make, you try your best and you're going to tick some people off, and other people are going to love it. And that's kind of just just life. Anyway,
100%.
yeah, everybody have a good weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday.
Bye.